Hey there, guys, and welcome back to the Travis and Damian podcast, episode 92. We're available on anchor.fm/Travis Damian podcast, along with Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. First, we're going to talk about the MCU news from San Diego Comic-Con. Then we'll dive into our recent activities, including Stray and MultiVersus. Lastly, everything else in the news, such as Avatar: The Last Airbender, GTA 6, and many more. So first, we're just going to head straight into everything that happened with Marvel at San Diego Comic-Con. So first, they showed I Am Groot trailer. This is a miniseries that is going to be on Disney+. It is coming August 10th. Vin Diesel is returning to voice Groot, obviously, just to say I Am Groot a bunch of times in different tones and different ways. But yeah, it seems like a cute, fun series. Doesn't seem anything too serious. Just have five original shorts. So yeah, I believe Disney has done this before. I believe they just recently did their Baymax thing.
Yeah.
And I watched some of those, actually, and they were kind of cute and, somewhat amusing. So I'm sure that this is sort of in that same vein, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool, to have, animated shorts and stuff. I mean, that's what, Disney used to do. So it makes sense to have, more shorts and stuff. Also, I think this is, the best way to, I guess, use Groot. If he's not, with the Guardians or anything, because what else he's gonna do. So I think having nice little shorts is nice. I always like watching these animated shorts, from different IPs and stuff, as you could just tell a fun little story and then just be done with it. So obviously it's probably not gonna be important for anything MCU related, but if you just want to have a good time and watch it, I'll probably watch them. If not too long, if they're 5 minutes, why not? So they're cute little shorts, and yeah, it looks like a good time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool that they seem to be doing a lot more animated stuff in general, as we're going to talk about with all the other stuff here, which is cool because, I think the animated Marvel stuff hasn't been great over the last few years. Especially Spider-Man. So we got more information about freshman year. Obviously, it's going to be streaming 2024 on Disney+. And it's animated, if you didn't know that, because I think some people still didn't know that. I think some people thought it was something else. But yeah, it is an animated Spider-Man show, which is good. Hopefully this one's good. But yeah, we got a bunch of information here. So Daredevil will be in the show. Daredevil is just appearing everywhere now.
Yes.
So if you were starved for him, he will appear everywhere.
Let's fucking go!
And he is voiced by Charlie Cox as well. So he's going to be reprising his role. Tom Holland would not be voicing Peter Parker as Spider-Man, as Tom Holland doesn't really appear to care as much about more of the other stuff, because he wasn't in What If as well. So
yeah,
he's gonna be a new person. Norman Osborn is gonna be replacing Tony Stark as his mentor. So in the MCU, obviously you had the Tony Stark Jr. Now you can have Norman Jr. I guess. So we have different villains. Doctor Ock. Chameleon, Speed Demon. I don't know who Speed Demon is. Scorpion, Butane the Pyromaniac. I've never heard of that man either. Additionally, Harry Osborn and Armistice Chow will appear in the series. Various suits will obviously appear, as that is a big thing with Spider-Man.
Time to sell toys.
Different suits. Yeah, basically. Great way to sell toys and stuff. Second season is going to be called Sophomore Year. Very original there with the naming convention. Again, 2024 is coming out, and I have a quote here. It follows the pattern you see in Civil War, but because of things that happen in the multiverse, because of the new / random occurrences, it's not Tony Stark waiting for him, it's Norman Osborn. So yeah, that's kind of an important thing that I think originally to say it was going to be sort of a backstory to Tom Holland, sort of starting as Spider-Man, but it seems they're totally changing that. I don't know if that's because of creative things or if you just couldn't get Tom Holland to voice Spider-Man for this, but instead they're sort of doing a redirection here where this is a multi-dimension thing that's happening. So it's and it makes sense, because we're dealing with the whole multiverse thing right now. So it makes sense to have, I guess, a side story. But yes, this won't really connect with the MCU at all. It's just going to be, its own thing, which is fine. I think Spider-Man, out of all heroes, kind of stands on his own to begin with. And if we get another, a good animated Spider-Man again, that would be great. Because the last one was spectacular, and that was, a long-ass time ago. So, yeah, I personally am kind of looking forward to this. Hopefully it's good, because the last few Spider-Man cartoons have not been very good. So I'm hoping they really get the story good and the characters. And, I'm always just down for a new animated Spider-Man thing if it's good. So, yeah.
I mean, like you said, the animated Spider-Man stuff has not been all that great for a very, very long time. And ever since Spectacular Spider-Man, unfortunately, got caught up in that Disney deal, and Sony was like, well, we're just going to hold the rights to it, so now you can't make anymore. So that show's sort of dead in the water, but unless Disney really wants to cough up a fortune and sort of get the rights for that show back, and then we could get more of it, but that's probably never going to happen. But this show does seem very interesting. It is very confusing when news was coming out about it, because it was like, is this canon? Is this not? Like, what's going on here? But it does seem a lot more clear now that it is diving into that multiverse aspect, where this is like a variation of Peter Parker's story within the MCU, where instead of Tony Stark, it is Norman Osborn, which I think is very cool. You know, the fact that they are introducing Norman Osborn within the quote unquote MCU in this fashion is very, very nice. And also having all of these traditional Spider-Man villains such as Doc Ock, Scorpion, Chameleon appear in the show as well is going to be pretty cool. I think that the concept of it being a backstory to Spider-Man as a whole for the MCU was going to be a little bit far-fetched, just because we had 3 movies with Tom Holland to flesh out his, you know, quote-unquote origin story, you know, and with No Way Home, it really does solidify that, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. So with this show, trying to just do its own thing, be its own show, not really caring about what happened within the movies, I think is going to favor the show and just being a lot better, and just make it easier for the writers to be like, we don't have to worry about what happened within the movies. We could just worry about what we're doing in our own show. Obviously, Daredevil returning, it has me very, very excited. I fucking love Charlie Cox and his iteration of Daredevil. So I hope that he can deliver a voice performance that will satisfy the fans, such as myself. And one of the executive producers, Jeff Tremel, he said he is a huge fan of Spectacular Spider-Man. So that obviously that obviously has people very, very excited, just like myself. So I hope that when this does come out 2 years from now, it is very, very good. When we get the first trailer, probably a year and a half from now, I hope. It does look good. It does look promising. I mean, just like the character sort of designs and everything like that, the fact that the show is stylized in the way of like the 60s comics is very cool. I think that the recent iterations of Spider-Man, you know, they've been, you know, not all that great. Even with Spectacular Spider-Man, it does look a little, you know, off. And then once you finally get into it, you realize how serious and how you sort of meticulously that they've sort of crafted this show and sort of how well planned it is. Even with only 2 seasons to show for it, you can tell that they really planned ahead and sort of where the characters were going and everything like that. So I hope that this show can deliver on that, because like that's a really big aspect as to why I love Spectacular Spider-Man, is that they were planning everything out like well before like we even got to season 2. Like they knew what they were going to do with every single character, you know, introducing Eddie Brock so early on just to have him turn into Venom and shit like that. So I hope that we get something not exactly like that, but something similar to that, where they're planning characters in certain spots that, you know, we get to know them in episode 2 or something like that, and then, you know, as we move along, we see them turn into, you know, whichever character they turn into.
Yeah, like, again, I just hope they don't fumble it. I think not connecting it to the MCU actually was for the best, because they have more creative freedom and stuff. And, you know, you don't have to explain, like, oh, well, when did, like, Tom Holland fought, like, all these people?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
and, like, it makes... When did he meet Ned and all this other shit, you know?
Yeah, so they don't really have to, like, be constrained to, like, that version of Spider-Man. They can just do their own thing. And since, you know, we're used to Spider-Man being so many different, like, people and things and stuff, like, it doesn't really bother me that much. I just hope for a really solid animated thing. Like, I hope the animation's good. I hope, like, you know, the story is good. Because, you know, I think a good animated Spider-Man, like, show is, like, needed at this point. I would love that. So.
Yes, 100%. Is there anything else you want to say before I move on, or?
No, I think that was everything. Yeah, we talked about Spider-Man a lot.
All right, cool. So next up, something that I wish wasn't happening, but we got a What If season 2. You know, What If, like, as a show, I think was fine. Wait, this tweet is gone. What happened, Marvel Studios?
Wait, is it?
But yeah, I mean, it was officially shown that What If season 2 is coming out. So yeah, I mean, not something that I really, really wanted personally, but I think that if they have more stories to tell, maybe the link I just used was broken. But anyways,
no, mine works. So,
but yeah, you know, Marvel What If season 2 is happening early 2023, and then season 3 is also in development, which is something that I wish I didn't know either. But yeah, you know, if they have more stories to tell, if some of them are okay, I'll deal with it. But, you know, for the most part of What If Season 1, I was not fully on board with it. You know, most of it was sort of just filler and stuff like that. Obviously, one of the episodes was the Marvel Zombies, which is what we're going to talk about next briefly. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. It seems like that this is sort of drawn in a certain niche crowd within the MCU fan base. So that's cool. But me personally, I'm not super looking forward to it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I basically feel the same way. Like, I feel like some episodes are really good and some were like, whatever. Like, you know, I thought Doctor Strange one was really good. There was like another one I liked, but I'm forgetting. But yeah, it was very hit and miss. I know that's like the thing with these type of shows, the like anthology stuff, where it's like, yeah, some are good, some are not great. But you know, the way they connected them all together at the end, and like I don't know, I felt like it kind of just ended. Like I felt like a one-off like type deal. But I guess they're gonna keep going with it. And I hope it just kind of get crazier with the what if scenarios. I guess like just come up with like really out there things. I think that would be pretty cool. But yeah, I agree with you that it's not like I'm not like super looking forward to it or anything. Like I'll probably watch it, but it's not like something I'm like craving to like see more of. You know, I think like a lot of it could be done better, and maybe it will be done better. I don't know. But I guess we're just gonna see because yeah, right now I'm just like whatever. It's just a thing to put on there. It's whatever. Because yeah. And I guess that kind of connects with the Marvel Zombies thing. I don't know if are they using the same animation style as What If?
I believe so.
Because I don't really know much. But anyway, this is going to be TVMA, so it's going to be like, you know, mature show, I guess. Probably because of the violence and stuff. You know, I think the episode in the What If that dealt with the Marvel Zombies would have been better if it was rated up. Because there's a lot of like awkward moments where it had the Marvel humor after something horrible happened. Like, what? So, I think making it TVMA and maybe like having it be more serious is a good thing. But yeah, right now we don't really know a whole lot. I mean, I knew it was coming out, but now it's coming out 2024. So I guess we'll see. Again, I don't know if it's gonna have a plot line or what. Like there wasn't too much information on it, but I guess we're gonna wait and see. And yeah, hopefully it's good because that one episode in the What If was like very like weird, and I don't know if I liked it that much. So
they're definitely leaning more towards the newer heroes. Like Kate Bishop's going to be in it, Shang-Chi's going to be in it. So yeah, it just seems like that they're just trying to get these new characters in just to have people more familiarized with them within this Marvel zombie show, which I think is fine. But at the same time, you know, I can see what they're doing there by not, you know, having all of the other legacy characters in there and just sort of, you know, having the newer heroes sort of take that spotlight, which is fine. But yeah, it seems like the zombie versions of the characters are going to be the legacy ones. So, you know, Captain America, Scarlet Witch, Hawkeye, etc., etc. So, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. I'm not, you know, just like What If, I'm not exactly looking forward to it. But if they can do a stellar bang up job with it, I'm all in. So. Next up we got here is X-Men 97. This obviously is drawing in a huge sort of like nostalgia crowd, if you will, just because, you know, the X-Men animated series sort of getting a sequel series. That's kind of insane, honestly. I think that is super duper dope. And I think that to those people that are really, really looking forward to this, they are 100% happy that, you know, X-Men are back in something. You know, X-Men have been not doing a whole lot lately just because of the whole Disney Fox deal and things like that. So now that Marvel has those characters back, it looks like that they're just going to do a lot more with them. So, you know, hopefully this show ends up being what people expect, just because I know that, you know, when you dive into that nostalgia rabbit hole, if you will, and when you dive into that bucket and you mess it up, it is obviously not good.
Yeah, I mean, it could easily backfire to be like shit. Like, you know, people that are nostalgic for it will just be like very mad and stuff. But I think they could do it. I'm not like a big X-Men fan to begin with. Like I like Wolverine, but like that's about it. Maybe because like there hasn't been too much like exposure in the MCU about it, obviously because of the whole Fox thing. But you know, I don't know if this is like just straight up continuing where that left off. It's gonna be like kind of welcoming to newcomers. I'm not too sure, but you know, I think it's cool regardless. Like I know people love, you know, that X-Men, so it would be cool for them to like get something while the MCU like introduces back like the mutants and stuff, because they've been, you know, pretty heavily handedly like being like they're coming back. Like every new thing they've been like really hinting at mutants being like a bigger deal than they are. So yeah, it's gonna be cool to like see them back in like, you know, a new project, I guess. So yeah, I guess again, if I hear good things about it and if it's like pretty welcoming to like new people, then yeah, I'll probably give it a shot. But yeah, I think like the MCU needs like just like the X-Men to come back like full force at this point. So
yeah, and this show is going to come out in the fall of next year, so that is pretty soon, honestly, when it comes to animated projects, because you know the Spider-Man one's 2 years out. This one is coming out next year, so. But next, we're going to talk about everything that happened in Hall H, which is all the pretty much exciting MCU news when it comes to
the big MCU stuff.
Yeah, the shows, the movies, all that stuff. So just to like give you guys a quick preview as to what was discussed there, Phase 4 will end with Black Panther 2. So that movie is supposed to come out later this year in November. Phase 4 through 6 is officially titled the Multiverse Saga, which I think was pretty obvious at this point for most people, where it was like, okay, like what's going on here. Phase 5 will start with Ant-Man 3, and Phase 6 will start with the Fantastic Four. And for Phase 6, they've only announced Fantastic Four and the 2 Avengers movies. Everything else they have not really sorted or planned out yet. So but pretty much we know for the most part what's going to happen for the end of Phase 4 and most of Phase 5. So Damian, will you kick it off?
Yeah, so we got Guardians Volume 3. So we knew about this for like a while. It's coming out next year, May 5th. Mm-hmm. And apparently it's supposed to be more mature in tone, I've been hearing. Yeah. Like, it's supposed to be like, you know, it's supposed to be the end of Guardians. Like, I don't know what, you know, what that entails just yet. You know, some people are saying they're going to, like, someone's going to die. Or, I mean, my prediction is they're just going to break up. Like, I think that's, like, the Guardians aren't going to be a thing anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's kind of my like prediction, I guess, for what's going to happen. But James Gunn seems to want to end Guardians right here, and if, you know, Marvel wants to do more with the characters, I guess they can. But you know, I am looking forward to it because, you know, I love the Guardians. You know, even if Guardians 2 was okay, you know, I love Guardians 1, and I love like basically anything they're in, like, you know, Infinity War and stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see how he really ends their story and how things just wrap up with them. Again, I don't think it's like the end for these characters. Like we're definitely going to see them in like other Avengers movies, I think. But in terms of like them having their own like solo adventure thing, you know, sort of going to be the end of that. I think Adam Warlock's supposed to show up finally too or something. So I think that's what's going to happen. So yeah, there's yeah, it seems to be a really like exciting movie if you're like fans of the Guardians and want to see how like their storylines like end at this point. So because, you know, we still got a big thing with like Gamora and stuff, so that's gonna be a pretty big focus as well. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. This one seems to be the most exciting just because James Gunn is like, this is going to be the end of the characters, and that doesn't mean that they're going to die. Exactly. So yeah. But yeah, I know that Cosmo is supposed to be introduced, which is like the space dog, which is pretty exciting. Just because he's a prominent character within the Guardians, I guess, stories. So finally seeing him on screen, and they did announce the voice actress. I forget what her name exactly was, but they did announce a bunch of other characters that are going to be within this movie. So yeah, you know, them breaking up or whatever happens within this movie. However, this concludes the Guardians. I'm sure James Gunn's going to do it justice because, you know, if you guys don't remember, you know, Marvel Studios sort of kicked him off of this project because he got quote unquote canceled for old jokes that he made way back then. And then he picked up the Suicide Squad, and obviously that movie's out, and that movie is pretty damn good. And, you know, Marvel was obviously looking for a new director, and they were like, well, shit, I guess we have to rehire James Gunn because, you know, canceling him for some dumbass jokes that he made years and years ago is obviously not okay. So yeah, hopefully that this movie does deliver. I'm a huge fan of the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. The second one, you know, might not have done what I really wanted to, just because it's so hard to live up to what the first movie did, because really no one knew how good that movie was going to be, and then it ended up being fucking amazing. And now Volume 2 sort of has to live up to that same expectation with no expectations whatsoever, which is impossible to meet. So I feel like with this movie, it's just, hopefully it's good. Hopefully it ends their story properly. That's all I'm really asking for. So, yeah, hopefully it does all that. It's going to be in theaters next year, May 5th. So, yeah, pretty cool. Moving on from there, we got Secret Invasion, Spring 2023. This series is supposed to be about Nick Fury and with all of the, what's it called? The goddamn Skrull and all of that other shit. So,
yeah, from like... Miss Marvel, right?
Yeah, Captain Marvel and all of that. Other
Captain
shit.
Marvel.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah. Damian's already getting them mixed up.
Yeah, sorry.
Anyways, yeah, I mean, this is going to be another Disney Plus series, so I hope it does well. I mean, I'm not exactly, looking forward to this super hypely just because all of the other Disney Plus series are more exciting than this one. But yeah, I hope that this one can deliver on a story that'll keep people engaged. I mean, obviously I'm going to watch it, but there's nothing really for me to look forward to because, I like Nick Fury, but do I want a series surrounding Nick Fury?
Well, too bad you're going to watch it.
Exactly.
That's kind of like the stranglehold with the MCUs. Like, even if you don't want to do it, it's like, I kind of have to. So you kind of, like, you're either in it or you're not. So like, that's kind of how it is. But yeah, I guess in terms of like this, like I still haven't watched Captain Marvel just because it came out like when like Infinity War and stuff was happening or whatever. Like it was like a few months before that, and I was just like ready to watch Infinity War. So that and Ant-Man 2 I just have not seen yet. I know you hate Ant-Man 2, but I'm gonna have to watch it at some point. I don't even know. Like I know Wasp was like in the first one, but she wasn't Wasp or something. I don't know. It's been forever since watching Ant-Man 1 to begin with. But yeah, basically what I'm saying is that I probably have to watch this. I know about the weird alien people that like shapeshift into things or something. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, I'll probably watch that before this. But yeah, hey, Nick Fury's like pretty cool. So there's that. Next, we have another thing that's kind of like people are like still like, okay, Echo is getting her own show. She was the not really villain. She was like just the other antagonist in Hawkeye. So yeah, she's getting her own thing. I believe Charlie Cox is supposed to be in this too, right? He's supposed to Daredevil is supposed to be in this.
Daredevil and Kingpin are going to tie into this story.
So this makes sense because Kingpin was very in Hawkeye. Spoiler for that, but he was in that show, so it makes sense that they're going to deal with that because they did things to Kingpin, but that didn't really happen probably. So it's gonna be interesting to see what to do with her. I don't know if they're gonna make her more of an anti-hero or like just maybe like she's just fighting crime with Daredevil at this point. But it's gonna be interesting to see. Like, I'm more interested with the Kingpin and Daredevil stuff than Echo. Like, she was cool, but like I think when you have Kingpin and Daredevil, it's kind of hard to be like, oh, let's focus on Echo. So, but yeah, looking forward to it just for those two characters more so.
Yeah, this one's also supposed to come out next year in the summer.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, just seeing Daredevil interact with Echo, who's also a person with a disability where she can't hear, and he's blind. So I think that those two interacting with each other is going to be very interesting. I'm sure that they're going to do some, stupid comedic bits or whatever. Hopefully not, because like Daredevil is a very serious character, but now that he's in the MCU, I wonder how they're going to handle him.
MCU-ify him. Yeah.
Oh boy, I hope in She-Hulk he's not, super funny. I know that show's supposed to be like a comedy sort of thing.
Yeah.
But hopefully he doesn't have too many funny bits because I'm gonna be like, yo, Charlie Cox, you really signed that check for this, huh? But Echo, obviously people are a lot more excited to see Charlie Cox and Kingpin just sort of duke it out once again and see how these versions of those characters sort of play out, because to those people like me who have watched Daredevil season 3 especially, it's like, oh my god, like those characters were so sort of like dark, if you will. They were very, very much at each other's necks. So hopefully that they are able to keep that same tone going into the MCU. But obviously we're just gonna have to wait and see, especially because he's gonna appear in She-Hulk, and I wonder on how that's gonna sort of set him up and everything like that. So moving on from there, we got Loki season 2, summer 2023. This seems to be one of the more successful Disney Plus series, just because it's a series about Loki, and also the way that they handled Loki, just like setting up the multiverse and with what's his name, goddamn, Krang and everything like that. It seems to be one of, if not the best, sort of Marvel series so far. So it getting a season 2 is no surprise. I feel like most of the other shows haven't gotten a season 2 either because there's nowhere to go with the story, or they didn't do as well as they thought they would. So yeah, I mean, more Loki adventures, seeing where the story can go. I'm all down for it as long as it's done well and it serves a purpose within Loki's story and heck, even maybe a little bit within the MCU, I'm totally down with it. This one's also supposed to come out in the summer of next year, so with this and what's it called, Echo, I'm 100% excited to see what they have for the Marvel shows.
Yeah, so I'm honestly very excited for Loki season 2. I still think Loki is my favorite MCU show just because it felt the most important to like the MCU in general. Like, they introduced like Kang the Conqueror and stuff, and the whole TVA stuff. I just find the TVA stuff to be very fascinating, and I just really like the characters and stuff. Obviously, Loki is always great whenever he's on screen, so it really helps that he's the lead of the show. So yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it. I think there's enough like unanswered plot lines to like get you excited for season 2. A lot of the other MCU shows are kind of just there to sort of introduce something or to like sort of like set up things, but this show does that as well, but it also like feels like it could stand on its own. So I think that's why I just prefer it over the other shows, even though I do like the other shows. But I think this one's the one that feels like it has the most potential, at least in my eyes. Because WandaVision was more just a one-off, just to like introduce her going crazy and stuff. But Falcon and Winter Soldier again was like more just to establish that Falcon is Captain America now. You get the idea. So Loki feels like the only one that's like really like could be like more. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this, and hopefully don't screw it up or it doesn't feel rushed at the end. All right. So next we got Blade. This is coming out November 3rd of 2023. This is a movie, right?
Yes, this is a movie.
Okay, so this is a movie. So yeah, obviously about Blade, which is very exciting. I know people were very excited for him to be in the MCU now. And yeah, it's coming out. Not soon, but it's coming out.
Yep.
It's nice to actually get like MCU movies because we've been bombarded with the shows and stuff. So it's nice to always see like the movies. I don't know, even if people don't really like Doctor Strange or the new Thor movie, it was still nice to like just see like a new MCU thing in theaters and stuff. So it's gonna be nice to have another new hero to be talking about because I really love Shang-Chi. Like that's probably like the best Marvel movie after like Endgame. I don't think that's hard to say though. Some people didn't like that. I like Doctor Strange, and I know Thor was really mixed. So hopefully this movie is able to introduce another new hero to a bunch of people. And hopefully it's good. So
yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see Mahershala Ali. Hopefully I said his name right. I probably didn't. Just to see him take on Blade because he is a fantastic actor. I saw him in Moonlight and he killed it. I mean, Moonlight was a movie that I watched purely because of like the whole like Oscar sort of like mix up or whatever, where it was La La Land and then it wasn't. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess Moonlight is like just that good because like I feel like La La Land during that time was getting a lot more press. Anyways, but yeah, I feel like that he is a very, very good actor. I want to watch him in more stuff. He was the Prowler in the Spider-Verse movie. So, he does have some stuff within, what's it called? The Marvel stuff already. So, hopefully, he does deliver. I hope that this movie is able to play a lot more seriously, and I hope that it's rated R because I feel like for a character like this, especially because the first time that they did it, way back then, it was rated R, I believe. So, having it be PG-13 this time around feels a little, unnecessary in my opinion, especially since because we're going to get Deadpool 3 and they've been very heavily like, yes, it's going to be rated R because I'm sure that they saw what happened with that Deadpool 2 like Christmas re-release where they did like PG-13 to sort of like test the waters, and I didn't really like it just because I knew what the rated R version was. So it's like, if I'm just getting that for the next Deadpool movie, I don't want that, and I don't want that for Blade either. So hopefully we get to hear more information about this obviously as we get closer. I'm sure maybe at D23, the next sort of big Disney Marvel stuff, we'll learn more about this, hopefully, because, all we know is the logo and that Mr. Ali is going to be in it. So
yeah, I mean, that's the case for most of these. Like we just have a logo to go off on. Like we had some previous information, but yeah, we just basically have the logo and some dates now. So yeah. And like, I guess the timeline. So
the whole MCU timeline, it's all coming together.
Yep.
Next one we got here is Ironheart, a Disney Plus original series going to be coming the fall 2023. So I'm kind of excited for this just because the way Ironheart was introduced in like the comics themselves, I can't explain this that well, but from my understanding is that like people viewed her as like a Mary Sue and everything like that. And I mean, if you just look up Trailer Drake and then just type in Ironheart, you can see a video with him comparing Miles Morales compared to Ironheart and sort of how that sort of dynamic took the, I guess, comic book community and stuff like that. But the way that they're introducing her for the MCU is that she's going to be in Black Panther 2, which I think is great because you're going to have so many people of color watch that movie and be like, who's that person? Who's this, Ironheart character? And then when this Disney Plus show comes out, like now we can learn more about them. And hopefully it's good because, obviously most of the Marvel Studios Disney Plus series have not been all that great. I wouldn't say that they're straight up bad necessarily, but most of them have been pretty mixed just because of the episode length and sort of like the rushed storylines, in my opinion. But yeah, Ironheart, I hope that they're able to introduce her in the MCU where people are willing to accept her, sort of thing.
Right. Like I think introducing the character in the movie and then like expanding on it like in the show seems like a good idea. So you get people like, oh, what's that? And then like people would like see it. Because like I think like things like Miss Marvel or Moon Knight, it's just like people were interested, but I think they would have been more interested if they showed up in a MCU movie and then it's like, oh, learn more about it in my Disney Plus show. So
yeah.
I think that'll get more people to like subscribe to it and like just more interest overall. So there's probably gonna be a ton of people like doing it the opposite way feels a little weirder to me because
yes,
if Moon Knight just shows up, it's gonna be like, who the hell is that? Like you're not gonna know. So I think introducing them like in a movie and then having it expand on a Disney Plus show seems like the way to go. Like I didn't even know she was gonna show up in Black Panther 2. So that's
I mean, cool. There was like a very quick clip, so I don't blame you for missing it within the trailer. But yeah.
But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Coming out fall 2023. A lot of things coming out 2023.
Yes.
Speaking of that, we got Agatha, Coven of Chaos. So this is also a Disney Plus thing?
Yes.
So it's also a Disney Plus show. I believe it was renamed, right? It was called...
it was like Wrath of Sumner or whatever, but they've now given it a new title.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Yeah, this is coming out winter 2023. Obviously, it's about to be Agatha from, WandaVision. She was the main villain in that show. And I guess we can learn more about her and stuff. I mean, it seems like there's some unresolved things with Wanda from Doctor Strange and just like her whole thing with the Darkhold or whatever the hell it was called, and like maybe they could go more into that. I know like they kind of ended all that with that movie, but maybe they want to explore some more things with her and maybe how that connects, or maybe it's just about her and like dealing with her own thing. I don't really know, but I guess we'll find out in this movie. I'm sorry, this Disney Plus thing. I mean, I thought she was a fun villain and stuff, but she did seem very like I didn't really care to learn more about her. I thought she was just a fun, like, crazy witch lady. So, but if they could go more into it and maybe have more connections to Wanda and stuff, then that would be kind of cool as well. So,
yeah, I mean, this is the one show that most people are just like, I'm going to skip this. And it's like,
I mean,
shit.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's very fair for a good reason because it's like, do we really need this after WandaVision sort of thing, But I guess there's more to tell. I hope that this does play... a role within the MCU and sort of the overall story because, if you're going to get people to sit down and watch like 8 hours of Agatha, I hope that it serves a purpose for something, not just something for funsies,
Right.
So, yeah, not looking forward to it, but I am hoping that it does at least be okay, sort of thing.
Right. I think that's fair.
Yeah. Moving on from there, we got Captain America New World Order. This is Captain America 4. Starring the new Captain America. It is going to be in theaters May 3rd, 2024. So it's a few years from now, but I am excited for it. This is going to be a brand new Captain America, a brand new director, my fucking accent. I don't know why I fucking put an accent there. Anyways, brand new everything. So I hope that they are able to deliver on this movie. I mean, we talked about it last time with everyone being like, that's not my Captain America, and how like actual America is sort of reflecting like what the comic books were telling and shit like that, which is fucking crazy. So I hope that this movie is able to sort of tackle that subject, not like I guess like a little more tongue in cheek than just being like, hey, like stop being a fucking racist kind of thing,
Right.
So yeah, I'm very, very confident in Sam Wilson taking on the helm of Captain America and sort of seeing what those stories can be. Because honestly, I really did like the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. I hope that we get to see more Bucky within this movie, maybe, you know, for like a few, you know, scenes or whatever. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to see what this movie has in store.
Yeah, I mean, the Captain America movies have always been like some of the standout for the you know, MCU in general. You know, Winter Soldier was really fucking good. So hopefully they could continue that trend and stuff and have the Captain America movies be like really good, sort of like big MCU movies that people really care about. And you know, I think Sam Wilson would do a good job, you know, as Captain America, you know, like just as Captain Falcon. So yeah, I mean, I know some people are still being weird about it, but that's kind of just like, I don't know, I've really kind of proven the point of the comics and stuff and even the show in general by doing that, so I'm like, shut up. But yeah, I have faith that he's gonna do a great job as Captain America now, because he's just Captain America. What they're gonna deal with, I don't really know yet, but you know, I guess we'll figure that out from either the other MCU stuff that are coming out. Maybe they'll build up to it, or you know, just gonna introduce it there. I'm not too sure, but yeah, hopefully it retains all the things that made the Captain America movies good to begin with, being like more like, I guess, like action, thriller, political stuff. You know, I think that's what those movies did really well. Or if they want to go in a new direction, you know, that's fair as well. So, but yeah, definitely looking forward to it, because you know, I think the Captain America movies are always just really good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why The Winter Soldier is still like my favorite MCU movie by far.
All right, so now we got a new trailer for She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. So I think this kind of explains a little bit more what the show is going to be about, I guess. So obviously she gets the powers, and now Hulk is like training her to be like a hero and stuff. And then we see a bunch of other people that are getting like powers, I guess, like maybe like just like everyone's just springing up with powers now, and like I guess shit, like people had to deal with it. So I guess that's going to be more of the premise of the show, a lot more action based than I thought it was going to be about. You know, I thought it was going to be a lot more, I mean, it is tongue-in-cheek and supposed to be more comedy and stuff. Like, they break the fourth wall a couple of times and stuff. So, I still think her CG looks like a little, it's mostly just her face. It just looks weird to me. But it looks a bit better than before. But, yeah, seeing all these other superheroes and stuff doing other stuff, and I guess she has to deal with it. Like, that's kind of cool. And then, obviously, at the end, we see, you know, see Daredevil there. So
let's fucking go!
Yeah, so there he is. He's there. So yeah, we're gonna see Daredevil in this as well. I don't know how he's gonna fit with the show's tone, like you said. You know, because from the Netflix show, he's very serious and stuff, and then this is very goofy, wacky MCU, like very goofy. So it's gonna be interesting to see how, you know, he works. I believe this is gonna be the first time in his Daredevil, like true Daredevil self in this. So that's gonna be pretty interesting to see how they really introduce him to the world again. You know, so yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, just like with She-Hulk in general, you know, with the CG and everything like that, you know, you can't really blame them for, you know, being crunched and fucking rushed to do all this shit. But yeah, it does look a lot better than the last time we saw it. I will give them that. But yeah, you know, seeing them just sort of lean into that comedy side of it and sort of how goofy the shit's gonna be with a fucking woman all green, you know, just walking around.
Big lady.
Yeah, and seeing the Abomination back.
Oh yeah, he's back.
Mr. Roth or whatever the fuck his name is, I forget. It's been so long since I watched the Incredible Hulk, and because they can't do movies with the Hulk without
Universal?
Without Universal being involved, they're just like, all right, well, since we got She-Hulk, we'll just try to fit everything in here. So
I mean, that's why Hulk is always with someone else.
Yes,
so.
That is exactly why they haven't done a solo Hulk movie in forever, because they don't want to deal with that shit. So they're just trying to, I guess, advance as much of like the Hulk stuff within this show. So I hope that, you know, some of that stuff is able to advance, but at the same time, the show overall is good. And obviously seeing fucking Daredevil is going to be awesome. Whichever that episode is going to be my favorite by far. And he's going to be wearing the yellow suit, which is going to be new. So I think that's going to be pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, the way that it ties in is that they're both superheroes and they're both lawyers by day. So that's pretty funny. So I cannot wait to see how this show turns out as a whole, just because it is coming out so soon. We did get a nice gap between this show and Miss Marvel, so getting back into it is gonna be pretty fun. But yeah, I am looking forward to this. It does look better than before. I'm sure that the fucking VFX artists are still fucking clamoring their asses to like get this show done for Marvel and shit like that, because we'll talk more about that later. But She-Hulk, pretty exciting.
And now you want to go into
of
more Daredevil?
Of course, bro, man. Look, this is the best fucking news to come out of this shit. So Daredevil is officially getting a Disney Plus original series called Born Again. It's coming out spring 2024. It's gonna have fucking 18 episodes.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, that's good.
18 episodes, and Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are both returning. So yeah, I mean, Daredevil Season 3 already was adapting the Born Again storyline, so I wonder how they're going to play into that. I'm not sure if they're just using that tagline to sort of be like, oh, this is like a soft reboot of like the sort of like what they did with Netflix or whatever, but I am very excited. Obviously 18 fucking episodes, that is insane. Just like off the bat, like the fact that they're gonna do 18 episodes, not just 8. They're doing 10 extra episodes to make sure that they get this shit done right. I am very, very excited for it. Does this mean that you shouldn't watch the fucking Netflix shit? Hell no. Like, I'm fucking rewatching season 2 right now with my girlfriend, because I'm like, it's been a while since we watched Daredevil, so we should probably watch season 2. And I thought season 2 was a lot messier than I remembered, but I'm fucking enjoying season 2 right now, with the Punisher and everything like that. So I hope that this series, is able to, slowly introduce those old characters back. There is a rumor that what's it called? John Bernthal is gonna return as the Punisher, and he's gonna have like his own like little series as well on Disney Plus. So I hope that's all true. Maybe it'll get announced at the Disney event next month or September or whatever. So yeah, obviously I'm fucking excited for this shit. 18 episodes, come on. Like,
yeah, that's great. Our constant complaint with the Disney shows is just that they feel too short, or they don't have enough time to really do anything, and by the time to do interesting stuff, it's over. So with this having like 18 episodes, that's a big deal. So I'm really happy they're giving like the love and attention to Daredevil, because this is what fans really want. Like fans have been asking for Daredevil in the MCU for so long, ever since like the Netflix stuff like ended. So I'm really happy that they're giving him like a full like 18 episode thing. Like, you don't even see that in most shows anymore. Now, most shows are like 13, 12 episodes now or something. Like, I don't know what's up with the short like episode length, but yeah, I'm really happy that this is going to be getting like the full treatment it deserves, because I think the Daredevil fans deserve it at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's just fucking exciting. I hope they don't fuck it up. I think that's like the one thing a lot of people are fucking afraid of, is that they're just gonna fuck it up. But right. I hope that they realize what they're tackling here, and it's like, you look at what you did previously with the Netflix stuff and just like, not copy and paste it, but try to emulate that as much as possible with these new versions of the characters, with these same actors playing these characters, because I'm sure the actors are going to have a lot to say about their own characters. Charlie Cox and Vincent are, fucking, they are those characters. They are fucking Daredevil and the Kingpin, respectfully. So they kill it in those roles every single time they're in it. So yeah, obviously I'm very, very fucking excited, and I'm looking forward to that shit. So
yeah, I really need to watch it. I have time. I have until next year. So. Or no, 2 years from now. Yeah, it's coming out in a while, so I have time.
Yep.
All right, so Thunderbolts. This is a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie about like the villains.
anti like Avengers thing that we've been seeing them build up for a bit. So yeah, this is supposed to be finally like, I guess, like be a movie about them. We've already seen them building up to this with Falcon and Winter Soldier and end of Black Widow as well. So it looks like they're finally gonna I guess expand on it and like kind of explain what they're even supposed to be about. So that's gonna be interesting. I think the Thunderbolts. I don't know how well they're going to play into like the overall story right now, because it seems to be a lot of things happening in the MCU right now. But yeah, we're going to see how this plays out with the whole multiverse things happening as well. I don't know if they're going to be a major threat right now, or what this movie, I don't know if it's going to be more like Suicide Squad, where it's like they're like anti-hero type deals or whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I guess we're just going to have to see, because we still don't really know a lot about the Thunderbolts. We've just been getting little hints and teases of like their team like members joining and stuff. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they actually do with these characters, because they've been building up for a bit. So yeah.
Yeah, this sort of like team of villains is going to be pretty cool to see. I mean, obviously, we're like fucking, I don't know how many movies in, how many shows deep, but we haven't gotten anything on like a villain sort of like series or movie. So this is going to be the first time that they're going to head into that. So I hope they can do well. I hope that can, sort of be like a fun little blockbuster film that they're able to pull off. How it'll play into the MCU, I don't fucking know yet, but, I'm sure that they have something in their mind as to how it's all gonna come together because, I'm not exactly sure who the Thunderbolts in the MCU are. I know, what's it called? The fucking fake Captain America from Falcon.
Fake Captain America and, Elena or whatever her name was. What's her name? The Black Widow's sister.
Yeah, I'm fucking losing it too.
Or why?
Yelena.
Yelena.
Yep. Yeah. Those two are gonna be in it, I think. So, hopefully they're able to build more on that. Maybe Zemo might be like the leader.
Oh yeah, I think he was there too.
Yeah. So. Obviously, we don't know jack shit, but hopefully it's good. That's all I'm asking for anything within the MCU is for it to be watchable and okay, at least, Moving on from there, hopefully this shit doesn't disappoint. Fantastic Four, they have officially announced that it's coming to theaters November 8th, 2024. And this is going to be the start of Phase 6, like I said earlier. And they didn't announce the cast yet because that's supposed to be during D23, aka the event in September or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, Kevin Feige said that they don't want this to be an origin story. People already know what the origin story of the Fantastic Four are, but that's fucking bullshit because I don't even know what the origin story. I don't know. I don't know either. So I'm like, shit. Do I have to watch the Fox movies with fucking Chris Evans as the Human Torch in there to like learn about the backstories? Maybe I do. But I hope that they do change that direction and actually make this like an origin story because. For once, that is needed. That is needed here because the Fantastic Four have, their last like quote unquote good movies were from like the early 2000s with like fucking Spider-Man and the X-Men and shit like that. So having this be like an actual origin story, I think is needed and how they all tie into the MCU and shit like that. I think that will, be a good thing. Them being like, oh. You guys already know who these guys are, right? And it's like, no, people fucking don't. People have been following Iron Man, Captain America, their storylines these past like 10 odd years. And now it's like, oh, now we got the Fantastic Four. You guys remember them, right? It's like, no, we fucking don't.
Like, I think that was a great call for Spider-Man because everyone knows Spider-Man's origin at this point. Like you really don't need to go further into it. Like, that's why I think MCU Spider-Man did a good job sort of like not really getting into the whole Uncle Ben thing because we already know that. Like, that's whatever. However, Fantastic Four, it's like, I don't fucking know. Like, I know they were like one of the first Marvel characters to be like, introduced ever, but like no one really cares about them. Like, it's just like they were the first, but it's like, Spider-Man and stuff were just more popular to begin with. So yeah, I think an origin story is also needed. Because I have no idea where these people like got their powers from or like how they form into a team or anything like that. So it'll be interesting to see how that happened in like an MCU origin story. But if they want to just get into it right there, then I guess that's fine. I guess I don't know how this man became stretchy or why this guy is rocks, but whatever. I guess we're just gonna ignore that and just go on with it. So yeah, I agree. That kind of feels like a misread of what people actually know about the Fantastic Four. I think they definitely should have done a origin story as well because that feels kind of weird not to have one.
Yeah. So hopefully, Kevin Feige's looking on Twitter and being like, okay, maybe we should.
Shit, they don't know.
Maybe we should make this a origin story, but yeah, I mean, like the cast of this movie is like a huge thing for people. Obviously, like I fucking love John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, even for like the 10-15 minutes we saw him on screen within Doctor Strange 2. Like that was like a fan cast that people wanted for years, including me. So seeing him on screen like that, I was like, okay, well, he may not return because that's like, a multiverse sort of bullshit thing. So if they get Penn Badgley, which is sort of like the front runner in the rumors of who's going to play Mr. Fantastic, that can be a thing. Obviously, he has the Netflix show You going on, so that can be a sort of like scheduling conflict. So maybe that's why they haven't officially announced it during San Diego Comic-Con. And also, I think that they're still trying to figure out who's going to play the rest of the cast. So... yeah, whoever they announce, I hope that people are willing to accept them for, the Fantastic Four family. So, yeah, obviously I'm looking forward to this. I hope that they are able to nail it because, in the grand scheme of things, Fantastic Four's last movie was really fucking bad. So,
Fair Four stick, yeah.
Yep.
It's really not good.
So hopefully that they're able to lay it this time. I'm sure that they'll make a passable movie as most MCU movies have been. So.
All right,
Yeah.
so next, now we have like 2 Avengers movies coming out. The first one being Avengers, the Kang Dynasty. So this is going to be May 2nd, 2025. It's coming out very far, but, we already have 2 Avengers movies coming out. And it's kind of weird that, we're not getting an Avengers movie for like a while. Like it's going to be a while till we see like any type of big team up or whatever. And I guess that makes sense. Like after, Infinity War and Endgame, it's kind of I guess can't really like top that right now. You kind of have built up a lot to be like another big epic Avengers movie. That's pretty exciting that we're all going to get like 2 very close to each other. And it's supposed to be directed by the same person who directed Shang-Chi. So that's pretty cool. Shang-Chi was a great movie, and I'm hoping, his vision for these. I don't know if it's supposed to be both or just this one. I think it might be both. I'm not too sure.
He's only directing Kang,
The first one?
I believe
Okay.
they want someone else to do Secret Wars, which is the next Avengers movie, which is coming out the same year, 2025, November 7th. So we got a Infinity War Endgame situation where we're getting 2 Avengers movies that same year. And obviously, we don't know what's going to come out, in between then, or if there's going to be a movie in between those 2, who knows. But yeah, the fucking memes coming out with the VFX artists, sweating, crying, pissing, shitting their pants, fucking seeing two Avengers movies coming out the same year. Oh, fuck. But, them using the Secret Wars tagline was sort of a given. I feel like most people were looking forward to that just because, we are dealing with the multiverse, and I believe Secret Wars in the comics, I could be wrong, did deal with some sort of, multiversal, shenanigans and shit like that. So, yeah, obviously, I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen in Kang Dynasty that, requires them to have a fucking part 2 film, so hopefully, it's not as bad as, half of the fucking, universe dying, but, yeah, I mean, getting the Shang-Chi director to direct Kang Dynasty is gonna be fucking amazing. I hope that the fight scenes are as good as they were within Shang-Chi, if not better, because this is a fucking Avengers movie we're talking about here, and people are obviously questioning who are the Avengers because, when we got to, the other Avengers movies such as Infinity War and Endgame, we had the first 2 to sort of build up that team, if you will. And now we're just sort of, having, phase 4, 5, and then Avengers, like there was no Avengers movies in between there. So I guess that they're really treating the Avengers tagline and sort of like that title as like really sacred, which is like a good thing, I would say, just because, people will fucking pull up to Avengers movies, even if they know nothing, they haven't watched anything, they skipped everything, they'll fucking pull up to a Avengers movies just to see some cool shit happen.
Yeah, people are crazy to show up. Like, I want to watch like Infinity War and Endgame, even though I didn't watch anything afterward. I'm like, or beforehand. I'm like, that's crazy. Like, I feel like you have to like at least know something before going into those movies to get like the full effects. But I mean, they're still like good if you just watch them by themselves, I guess. But like, I don't know. I feel like the impact is mostly if you've been with the series for that long. But who am I to judge? You can do whatever you want. But yeah,
exactly.
Very exciting to get 2 MCU movies like that. But now the movie that's like closest here is Black Panther. Black Panther. I don't know why we both had the weird accent. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. So this movie has always been like, kind of like, confusing right now because obviously Chadwick Boseman passed away.
Rest in peace.
And yeah, so we weren't really sure what they were gonna do with this movie, and a lot of people weren't really sure what direction they were really gonna go in. But with this trailer, it seems like they want to go in a more, I guess, like mourning type thing. Like they're like, it looks like the whole of Wakanda sort of like grieving and stuff with the death of Black Panther and stuff. And I think that, again, this is just from the trailer alone. This is what I gathered from it. It seems to be maybe focusing more on that and just like the characters of Wakanda, sort of like coming to terms with that. Obviously, there's going to be like a villain and there's going to be a Black Panther. But I think having the movie focus more on that makes a lot more sense, at least to me. Like it feels more personal and, gives a good send off to just Chadwick Boseman in general and just like his character and stuff. Cause, it was obviously like pretty horrible that happened. So it's really cool that we get to have a movie that's more like, I guess, like an indirect tribute to him, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. You know, this movie, every single time it was in the press, it was always fucking bad news.
Yeah.
So I hope that they're able to, despite everything that, you know, happened behind the scenes, I hope that this movie is able to deliver on what, you know, people are looking forward to within this movie is another Black Panther movie. You know, despite Chadwick Boseman not being in the movie and them sort of not using T'Challa as a character, I hope that this movie is able to, you know, have a coherent story, and whoever is taking on the Black Panther mantle afterwards, by the end of this movie, if at all, is one that people are willing to accept. You know, no one wants fucking Shuri just because of how much trouble that actress has caused behind the scenes with the whole vaccine and shit.
Yeah.
So, you know, I am looking forward to this movie. You know, Black Panther 1, like as a movie, I thought was like a fine MCU movie. I thought that it delivered on what it was supposed to do. You know, just give us more Black Panther from what we saw him the first time within Civil War, and sort of build him up before we got into Infinity War. And it seems like this movie is obviously taking a completely different direction, sort of trying to, you know, grieve the loss of T'Challa. So I hope that they're able to deliver on that while also introducing Ironheart, give us the new Black Panther, and also Namor is supposed to be like the main villain or whatever. So and they're changing a lot of stuff with Namor, which people are very upset about, which is, you know, rightfully so. They're changing certain like key aspects of his origin story, which happens a lot within the MCU. So I'm not exactly sure what those key elements are. I did see, you know, people were upset about it on Twitter, and that's all I could really say much. But I know that there is a sort of slight controversy with all that. So, but I hope that Ryan Coogler, or, you know, everyone else behind the scenes are able to, you know, create a film that people are gonna like and enjoy and watch, you know, however many times in theaters as they did the first one, because, you know, a lot of people rewatch that movie. So
yeah, so I mean, I'm hoping it turns out good, because like we were saying, it looks like it has been through hell making this movie, just because of all the things that were happening. So hopefully it turns out good, and like, you know, we could get another good Black Panther movie, because I mean, I really like the first one a lot. So hopefully this one carries that same sort of spirit into this one. And it's supposed to be coming out in November. I don't know if it has like a specific date, but it's coming out November
11th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, November 11th later this year. So, yeah, I know that that's probably the next big MCU movie people are going to go and watch. You know, obviously, like Thor, I feel like not a lot of people saw Thor in theaters, either because of the, you know, negative reviews, or just because it's Thor.
Right.
But, you know, this one, I feel like a lot more people are going to go out and see. So,
yeah.
But moving on from there, the last thing we have to talk about is this VFX artist coming out, speaking with a journalist at Vulture, is sort of spilling the beans as to what's going on with, you know, their, I guess, houses, and sort of how everything works with them working with Marvel. So, yeah, I mean, as the fucking jokes on Twitter imply, it is fucking hell working for Marvel when it comes to being a VFX artist. You know, they work overtime. There's fucking people breaking down and like crying and shit.
Yep.
1 to 2 months out of the movie's release, like they want to change like the whole third act, and like they have to fucking rush it out. And like I think that in this article itself, they mentioned the Black Panther final fight, you know, where it fucking looks like a PS3 game, you know, with the fucking physics are everywhere.
Yep.
And like it's obviously CG, you know, Chadwick Boseman and what's his fucking name, Michael B. Jordan, you know, fighting on screen, and it's like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on here? But yeah, I mean, you know, it's really no surprise to anyone, especially with how fast and how much Marvel is pumping out with their shows and movies, especially the shows now. Because when you watch the shows, it's like, you know, that looks a little spotty. That CG doesn't look right. But it's like, can you really blame the VFX artists, or should we just blame Marvel? And then there's like a whole other point that I want to talk about, but I'll let you go first, you know.
It's basically the same thing with the video game crunch that we always talk about. You know, like we can't really, there's so much we could like blame, you know, when people blame like, oh, that thing looks bad, and like, you know, in a Marvel show or whatever, it's not really the fault of the VFX artist, because it's mostly like just a management thing, you know. Like we've learned that, countless times that's mostly just a management thing, either them changing things at the last minute of what they wanted, or not giving them enough time to do anything, or giving them too many projects at once. It's always comes down to a management thing. Like sometimes, yes, it is like, more on the artists or like the developers, like maybe like not being too experienced or whatever. But most cases it's usually management's fault, giving them like too much shit to do. And that seems to be the case here. I mean, if we, the consumers, are like getting overwhelmed by Marvel stuff, imagine the workers, like the VFX artists and stuff, that have to deal with like all these movies, all these shows coming out at the same time, like, and they have to work on these things like 24/7, or else they won't have a job or anything, and there's a good chance they'll get like blacklisted or whatever because Marvel's so powerful, because they're Disney. So, yeah, it really leads to unfortunate situations where, things will impact the final like thing because, they're just rushing them and making them do all these like work all these horrible hours and stuff. So, yeah, it's basically the same thing we talked about with the video game crunch, but just with, artists, these VFX people. So, yeah, it's the same stuff and it's still like awful. So,
yeah, I mean, like, when Spider-Man No Way Home was in theaters, that was like the first big Marvel movie in theaters. They were still patching it. Like as it was in theaters, they were like still touching up the VFX and stuff like that, which like I didn't notice when I first watched it. I thought that it looked fine, but obviously like there were certain things that, they changed slightly differently, and that and I probably wouldn't notice if I saw it side by side. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It sucks that, Marvel has so much power in, the sort of industry. Obviously, I feel like, if they can, they should unionize, obviously. I'm sure that when one of these big projects are going to come up, they're probably going to hopefully rise up and do something about it. Obviously, like that's like a big toll for them to do. It's obviously a lot easier said than done. But I do hope that there is some change within this industry because, them being abused and sort of taken advantage of because, it's fucking Marvel, it's fucking Disney. They're able to swing their big dick around and, have that power to be like, get this shit done or not have a job kind of thing. Don't get work, don't get paid. It sucks. And reading this article, I implore everyone to just read the full article. It's not that long, but you can really get an insight as to what this one story of this VFX artist has, just sort of, quote unquote getting pixel fucked where, they're nitpicking every single little thing on screen and shit like that. So, yeah, and also how Marvel directors aren't trained in, knowing how VFX works. So, like, they don't know how to visualize something in terms of, like, how it'll look before, like, a final render, as they call it or whatever. Like, obviously, like, me and you are just as ignorant as, how VFX artists and how visual effects works in general. So, this guy who spoke to this journalist obviously knows a lot more than we do. But, yeah. Hopefully there is change. I hope that this article really did light a fire under Marvel's butt. But, obviously we're, after we just talked about being excited for all of their fucking projects and shit like that, I hope that, there is still some change that will happen within this industry because really, like, Marvel, like, the MCU really heavily relies on CG for, like, no reason as well, so...
I mean, I think they just gotta either like give them better hours, like slow down on the production wheel. Like we don't need a new Marvel show like in the same months or whatever. Like it's okay, spread things out better. There's a lot of things they could do to like ease in the workload on them. I mean, they have $1 bajillion. Like either hire more people or do something. Like it really isn't that much of an issue. Just just hire more people. Stop making these people like work so like many hours for no reason. So but yeah, that's just how it is, man. Like it's just all this crunch, all these things, like all because of capitalism and stuff. You know how it is. You know how it be. So
fucking capitalism. Moving on from there, we're gonna get into our recent activities. So Damian, I will go first real quick just because I don't got a lot of shit. First up, I have not been doing a lot, honestly. I've been working and I've been hanging out with my girlfriend, so I haven't been doing a shit ton. But I did get around to reading volume 6 of A Silent Voice. This is the second to last volume in this series. And yeah, it is still very, very good. I am excited to see the ending of it because, yeah, I mean, it's just a very, very good story. If you watched the movie and you liked it, you should definitely give the manga a shot. If you never dived into either one of them, I would definitely recommend the manga, because the manga does set up the story a lot better and sort of give you a reason to care about these characters and sort of follow their journey and shit like that. But then I have been, I'm currently caught up on Rent a Girlfriend season 2. It is still good. Obviously, I do know what happens and sort of like the plot twists and shit like that. So seeing it all animated and shit like that, it is fun. I'm still enjoying Rent a Girlfriend. Fall Guys, I'm fucking, man, I still haven't gotten a fucking crown yet, man.
Yeah,
so annoying. No, I have not. It is so tragic, man. I'm fucking trying. I'm trying. I swear I'm trying.
Just trying.
But yeah, other than that, I did mention Daredevil season 2. I forget exactly which episode we're on, but we are nearing the end of that season. But yeah, with the whole Punisher and Elektra storyline, it is very, very exciting. And honestly, the fucking action scenes are something that I miss from Marvel shows, because, watching the fucking MCU stuff, I'm like, it is cool seeing Loki do stuff. And then it's like, when I watch, Miss Marvel, it doesn't have as much style and sort of, as much pizzazz, if you will. So
I mean, I kind of want to like Shang-Chi, because they actually did a lot more hand-to-hand combat type stuff, which I mean, I guess because a lot of the Netflix shows are more based on hand-to-hand type deal as well. And the MCU is just like, I'm gonna shoot lasers on my hand, bam.
But yeah, that's pretty much everything I've been doing.
So yeah, in terms of things I've been doing, I actually decided, so Stray came out, and that was like the big thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could either buy this or get the PlayStation Extra thing. But then I'm like, well, for $20 more, I could try Premium and see how that works. And I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'll just get the Premium thing. So the first 3 things here are like basically my experience of me testing out some of the features Premium has. So first, let me just talk about Stray. So Stray is really good. Obviously, it's a $30 indie game. So if you're not sure about the price, because the game is short, it only took me like 5 hours to beat, so it's like a short little thing. And it's basically like a walking sim. So if you're not into that sort of stuff, I would say, but if you still want to try it out, I would suggest just getting like PlayStation Extra Premium if you want to like get that plus more stuff. I think that's the best way to go about it. But in terms of the game itself, you play as a cat. You do all your cat things. You could jump. You could, sleep on random things. You could push things over shelves and stuff. Do cat things. That's sort of like the whole like marketing thing for this game. But the game basically plays more like a walking sim. Like you explore this cool cyberpunk city. You meet all these like cool robots, and you sort of gotta help them like open up this like underground city into like the outside world, because of like story reasons that I won't get too into. But yeah, the game is really fun to just explore. Again, like I said, I really love the cyberpunk type setting it has going on. The whole like sort of post-apocalyptic like type deal where humans are dead, but like a bunch of other things are thriving now. Always really like that setting. And, I think the story is told pretty well. It's not like too complex or anything. It's not too heavy either. Like, it goes into some more deeper things and stuff, but it mostly keeps it lighthearted, because the game is about a cute little cat. So I don't think like, if they made it too deep, I think it would like kind of clash with like what it's kind of going for in general. But yeah, I think it's just fun to explore around all these cities and stuff and just be a cat. I mean, that's basically all it is to it. It's just mostly like walking through like more like you have like 3 big sort of hub areas. And then like you have levels sort of connecting them together that are more linear based deals. And there's some stealth segments and some segments where you run away from things. So yeah, it has some light gameplay to it, which keeps me, entertained in a normal walking sim, which would just be like, oh, just walk into the next thing, which I don't mind either. But I think having those sort of light gameplay elements to it like helps keep you engaged and stuff. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a really good time. The game was very beautiful. I just enjoyed my time with it. Again, if it's worth $30, I think that's mostly up to you. If you want to like have a nice little walking sim for like 5 hours as a cat, and if that sounds good to you, then go buy it for $30. I think it's worth it. But if you want something else, then yeah, if you have a PlayStation, I think it's better to get the other PlayStation deals that come with it. But anyway, my experience with PS Premium was honestly like a lot better than I thought it was gonna be. So first, I want to try out the streaming, right? The streaming was like the biggest thing that, makes me raise an eyebrow, right? It's like, I wish all these games were downloadable, and I still do. But, the only Ratchet & Clank game I haven't gotten a platinum in was Full Frontal Assault, because, I'm like, whatever. When the game came out, I just didn't care. So now I'm like, might as well. I'll test the streaming with this game. I'll do that. And surprisingly, the streaming was pretty good. like the most important thing for me was input delay, right? Like if there was any input delay, I would have been like, I'm out, right? But the game felt, it was basically 1-to-1. Like I press jump, Ratchet jumps. If I press square, he does a wrench swing. Like it worked like surprisingly well. The downsides to it is, the game does look compressed a bit. Like you could tell it's not like it's full like native resolution. Like it does look pretty compressed when I'm like playing it. And the game will have some micro stutters. Like it didn't happen to me like that much, but you could tell when it's like sort of like buffering in like a YouTube video would do that a few times. And there was one time where the game just totally freaked the fuck out on me. It was like my whole screen was turning weird colors. Like Ratchet was like all janking around and shit. I'm like, what is happening? So so that's obviously the downsides to streaming. Like it's still not perfect. But it worked a lot better than I thought it was going to work. And this is, my PS5 is not connected to like an Ethernet. Like I don't have it connected because I don't play online on the thing. But maybe now I might buy one to see how much better it could improve with an Ethernet, probably by a lot, my guessing. But yeah, it actually worked surprisingly well. Obviously this is not going to be guaranteed for everyone. My internet's pretty good. I make sure it's like a good internet because, I use it a lot. So, if you're like in the bumfuck middle of nowhere or like your internet is just not very good, I wouldn't even try it. There is a 7-day free trial now. So if you want to test how the streaming quality will be, you could do that now, which is good. But yeah, I would still say it still needs to, work, but it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. So, kudos to Sony for making it pretty good. It's playable. Again, I would still rather them be downloadable, obviously, but I think if this is my only option to play old PS3 games, then fine. I guess this is what I'll take. Also, there's like you can't even pause the game for too long because the game will kick you out for being AFK because like they have to like bring more room for other people to come in. So that also sucks. So like if you gotta like do something and it takes more than like 10 minutes, you get your ass kicked. So yeah, that's also pretty bad. So again, not perfect, but it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And I feel like I'm okay with that for now. Again, I would like it if it's downloadable, but whatever. And the next thing is I could play the classic library now. So I could play, like Ape Escape or Jack and stuff. So I just said play Jack and Daxter again. It's been a very long time since I have. And the game is fast. I beat it in like 2 days. It's not a very long game, unlike Jack 2 and 3, which I like pain. But Jack 1, I played again. It's been so long since I played that game. And yeah, it's just a fun 3D platformer. I reminisce back when Jack was like, he's just a simple ass 3D platformer before becoming GTA and shit. I still love Jack 2 and 3, and I think those games are more memorable because of that huge huge change in gameplay style. But Jack 1's still a very solid 3D platformer and had a good time. That PS2 emulator isn't great, though. There's a lot of slowdown in places. The textures look really weird. So yeah, it's definitely not a perfect emulator for what they use, but it's whatever. We have a good comedy bit there.
I don't know what's going on.
But yeah, overall, yeah, it was pretty good. I had a good time playing Jack 1. Again, I don't know how the other classic games are because I haven't tried them out yet, but I will eventually. Like I'll probably play Ape Escape and see how that runs and like sort of like the new revamp thing they did because that was actually like the newer games they added to the service. So, so whatever. And I guess the last thing I have here is MultiVersus. So MultiVersus is like the big new platform fighter that's coming out. So basically like Smash. But, it's free to play. And this game has all the characters from Warner Brothers. So you have like Looney Tune things and Cartoon Network stuff and HBO stuff. And the game is like a lot of fun. I don't know if that's okay. Like I think people are been saying like, yeah, it's a really fun game. And it is. I think in terms of Smash clones, this is definitely the best one I've played. It doesn't feel as mechanically dense as like Nickelodeon honestly did. Like I think Nickelodeon had a lot more mechanics to it. And Rivals of Aether as well. Like those games were more geared to be more competitive. But I think that's sort of the problem with those games and why they haven't garnered as much of an audience. One is because Nickelodeon didn't have enough budget and it was like $60 or whatever, or 40, I forget how much it was. This game is obviously free to play, so a lot more people are going to play it. But I think the game just kind of focuses on just being fun first. The game is just fun. Like the mechanics do seem a lot more simplified compared to Smash. Like you don't have any tilt attacks or anything. There's no real smash attacks. Your moves just kind of charge up or whatever. So I guess that works like a smash attack, but not everything can be charged up. The mechanics just seem to be a lot more simple than something like Smash or whatever. But the game is more focused on 2v2, so the complexity comes with that. So picking like the right character to complement the other character, and then some characters could buff you or whatever. So that seems to be where most of the complexity is. But I think the game just does a good job sort of implementing these characters to feel like how they would feel. Like I play a lot of Jake the dog, and he's very stretchy, and it just feels like Jake the dog. And I think they did a great job just making me feel like this feels like this character. Like in Nickelodeon, even though I thought the game was fun, there was a lot of characters that just kind of felt like they just had a move set from like Smash, and like, okay, this is on this character now. Like Zim felt like Bowser Jr., and like that's it. Like, he didn't feel like Zim to me. In this game, it feels like these characters are these characters, if that makes any sense. Like Tom and Jerry like pulls out a bunch of things and try to like kill each other. Like that's such a unique idea for that character. Bugs Bunny throws out all like the Looney Tune type bullshit at you. You know, like Superman has all his powers and stuff. I think that's what I really like about these fighters, is that they really adapt these characters into like a fighting game, and I think that's why I really like the game a lot. And again, it helps that the game is free to play as well. Like more people are going to play it because it's free to play. And I think the business model, it's fine. You know, I think it takes like a very long time to get characters after the past few hours, because getting coins by just leveling up and stuff just take forever. But for the most part, everything else is just cosmetic. You know, you have a battle pass, you have costumes and whatever. But overall, I think it's really fun. And I do think the game has a good future ahead of it if they keep adding characters and more updates and all that good stuff. I think the game is going to do really well. Because, I mean, the game has like more than 100,000 people playing concurrently right now. So it seems to not be hurting in terms of player numbers. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to see how this game evolves in the future. Hopefully it doesn't involve any more microtransactions, but I guess we'll see in the future. But yeah, overall, really good. I'm really enjoying the game.
Did you play LeBron yet?
I did. I haven't unlocked him. I played him in the lab, and he's pretty fun. You have his ball, and it's like you could like sort of dribble it on people.
Yeah.
And it's like really fun. I don't know if he's good or not, but like it's a very fun like moveset for a character. It's like something I've never seen in like a fighting game. So yeah, kudos to them for making some really unique movesets. I mean, like, and you could just say I beat your ass with LeBron. Like, what the fuck? So yeah, definitely a very unique game with some really cool characters. So yeah, highly recommend it.
All right, well, I'll definitely try it out when it goes live. I know it's still in beta, right?
It is in beta, but I think it's an open beta now. I think anyone can just play it. So
maybe I'll download it next weekend or something like that. But moving on from there, we're going to get into just general entertainment and gaming news. So first up, the Russo brothers have been doing some interviews because of their new movie, Gray Man or something like that. It's a new movie on Netflix or whatever, with Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans. So yeah, The Gray Man. My apologies. So this quote from Joe Russo has been going around the internet saying, "It's an elitist notion to be able to go to a theater. It's very fucking expensive. So this idea that it was created, that we hang on to, that the theater is a sacred place, is bullshit." So obviously, like, he's saying this because he's working with Netflix. Right. Because, you know, Netflix's mentality, he also says this, their mentality is more of a tech company than a studio. So they're less restricting on the budget. They're a lot more hands off. So they're really giving the directors a lot more freedom, a lot more wiggle room with the budget, and also just like what they want to do. And in the article itself, they also talk about Everything Everywhere and All at Once and sort of their role like producing that film. But yeah, just going back to the quote, I mean, obviously people are going to be upset because they're like, you fucking created Endgame. And like watching that shit in theaters was like insane. Like I feel like anyone who watched that movie in theaters for the first time and didn't know when Captain America was gonna lift Thor's hammer, like that shit will forever be in my mind, rent free, 100%. And I feel like most comic book nerds and Marvel nerds like myself are just like that. I've watched that movie multiple times in theaters just to see that audience reaction live, 4 to 5 times. And it was fucking great every single time. So saying that it's a sacred place, it's bullshit. is not correct in my opinion. I feel like that going to the theater and having the privilege to watch something on the big screen with the really good audio, with the really nice seats, that's a fucking experience, and it should be sort of, cherished and sort of, preserved, if you will. Because, during the pandemic, people were like, shit, are movie theaters even going to be around anymore, because of how much, the world was going through, turmoil and sort of like the economy and shit like that. So.
Yeah. So, obviously I'm not as big of a theater nut as you are, but I still really do like going to theaters. I think it was this summer watching like Top Gun, Doctor Strange, and Thor. I was like, yeah, I do miss theaters. I do miss sitting down and like eating popcorn, just watching in the big screen and stuff. Like I do miss that a lot. But I do think we should be given more of a choice where we watch it. Like, some people just don't give a shit and like just want to watch it at home. And I think, that pandemic situation where it's like you could just pay and just like watch it, or is it just on the streaming thing with HBO did that? That's fine too. I think having options is always good. And if movie companies are just like, oh yeah, you could like pay a premium price to watch it at home, or you just watch it in theaters, I think that's fine. Like, I feel like that's probably the direction we should probably be moving in to begin with. Because there's some movies like I want to watch, but I really don't want to like go to the theater to watch it, like, because I just don't care as much. But there are some movies where I'm like, yes, this is a theater movie, so I want to watch it. Like, like Top Gun. Like, I can't really imagine watching that at home, right? Like, you kind of want to watch that in the theater. So, yeah, I do kind of get the point of that, but I think just calling it all bullshit and like it's not safe, I think that's a little harsh. I do think theaters do provide a little extra magic to movies and stuff with like you can't get that anywhere else, from the audience reaction just to the general vibe of it. I really do enjoy that setting as well. I just don't want it with every single movie I watch. Some movies I just feel like I want to watch it, but I feel obligated to just go to the theater because it's there first, so I have to do that. But I think given the choice, I probably would see more things in the theater than not. But still, I think having the option is always nice. That's all I'm trying to say.
Look, Joe Russo just trying to get in Netflix's bag.
Yeah,
respect, honestly.
Yeah. That's basically what it sounds like, yeah.
But yeah, people freaking out over it. Read the article a little bit more, and you can definitely see him just try to play into his pocket. I guess that's just my perspective on it. I'm sure that other people that have read the article will say otherwise. But yeah, I definitely had a feeling that it was just him trying to be like, oh look, Netflix is so good.
Yeah, it does seem like he's kind of like sucking up for it, but it's whatever. Get the bag, bro. So remember Walking Dead? So Andrew Lincoln, how do you say her name? Danai.
The actress that plays Michonne.
Yeah. No, it's Dania, right? Dania Gurira. Yeah. That's I think that's how you say her name. Gurira?
I don't know.
Gurira. They were going for both reprisal roles as Rick Grimes and Michonne for a 6-part Walking Dead limited series. So I'm not caught up at all with Last of Us, with The Walking Dead. Rather,
I mean, same.
I know. Rick Grimes. I don't even know if he died. I think he just kind of left. I forgot in the show. And Michonne, I have no idea what happened to her. So.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Michonne, but I know
he was supposed to get movies, wasn't he?
Yeah. So I believe that this is taking place of those like 3 movies that he was gonna get. So instead of 3 hours, now we're getting like 6 hours worth of content, hopefully. But yeah, I know that I stopped watching around when they did like the fake Rick Grimes death, where like he died, he quote unquote died on that bridge, and then he was lifted with like a helicopter. Yeah. But I don't know if that went anywhere. I doubt it did, just because they were probably saving it for this. And it's been a while since we've heard anything about Andrew Lincoln's sort of movies or whatever. And most of the original cast were sort of tired of just like doing the Walking Dead stuff. But I know that the Walking Dead's gonna end soon. For the MCU. For the AMC show. Right. So, with this 6-part limited series, I wonder how they're gonna wrap it all up. I'm sure that it's gonna be on like the AMC sort of like app or whatever, like their streaming service, because I know that The Walking Dead was like a big thing that they were pushing, where it was like it's also gonna premiere on our streaming service, but also on AMC TV. So you want to watch it the old way, but you could also watch it the streaming way. So obviously that's them trying to adapt with the times, because I'm sure that they know that after The Walking Dead, they don't got jack shit, Right. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it just because these are characters that people have really fallen in love with, especially myself. Despite me not watching what happened with The Walking Dead afterwards, I know glimpses and sort of bits and pieces of it. It definitely rubbed me the wrong way when they killed Carl, just because it was like, what the fuck are they doing here? Because Carl definitely played a big part in the comics from my understanding. And my apologies if I spoiled that for anyone for the AMC show. Don't worry about it. It only gets worse after like season 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So, but maybe I'll catch up with it. I don't know. It's all on Netflix, so why not, sort of thing, if I have that fucking time anyways. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to this. I hope that it does do well, just because it's supposed to be a series that'll wrap up their story arc. So, obviously there's a lot riding on that. We saw what happened with Obi-Wan, them trying to expand on those storylines and sort of where that went. But obviously, like, that was with Star Wars. This is something different. So hopefully they're able to stick that landing with 6 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how long the episodes are, but I guess we'll see. I mean, for anyone that actually like, I like those 2 characters, so maybe. And it depends on where it lands on the timeline or whatever. Like, if it's in like the seasons I was like in 2, then sure. But I guess we'll see.
Next bit of news, we got more stuff on Avatar: The Last Airbender. So the first movie will now be about Aang and the gang as young adults rather than a Kyoshi movie, and that is still coming out 2024. And we also got news that a Azula and Korra trilogy graphic novel are coming in 2023 as well. And Azula is just a one-off, and then Korra is the trilogy. I know I said that kind of weird, but... Yeah, I mean, like, I think that that's sort of like a no-brainer for the movies. If you're going to get people back into Avatar, you might as well just get the original gang back together and do a movie like that, because a Kyoshi movie, I don't know, that was kind of like stretching it a bit. I feel like most people wouldn't have gone to go see that just because Aang and everyone else aren't in it. People love Avatar because of those characters. They don't like it because of the fucking lore and shit. Like that's cool and everything, but, like, we want to see Aang and them, like, do cool stuff,
That's true. Like, I mean, I still think the world has room to expand. Like, I didn't hate Korra as much as other people did. I just kind of like the universe it's in. But yeah, obviously, if you want to get people back into Avatar and get people interested again, then yes, this seems like a no-brainer thing to do. Like, yes, just do them as older, like, people doing stuff. So that seems like a no-brainer to me, to, like, just sort of have that big comeback of Avatar. And I think it will do well. I think Avatar has really stood the test of time in terms of, like, people's, like, nostalgia and stuff, because I watched it as an older person and I still really enjoyed it, and a lot of people feel the same way. Like, a lot of people, like, watch it later in life and, like, oh, this shit was good. It's not just a nostalgia thing just because it was that good. So I think if they could carry that same magic into this movie, I think they could really hit the ground running to really expand Avatar. I know they already said they are, like, expanding Avatar by a lot, but I think this is really going to solidify, like, yeah, this is gonna be good. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know if these are going to be original stories or if they're going to adapt what they did in the comics, but either way, I'm excited, looking forward to it, just because, like, Avatar: The Last Airbender, like, as a series is kind of weird because it was like, people really got into it during, like, the pandemic and, like, when it went back on Netflix. I feel like that's when, like, the boom for Avatar really happened again. Excuse me. But even then, like, before, everything that happened with Netflix and, the show getting on there, people were still, like, checking it out and be like, yo, wait, this shit's kind of dope. So, the fact that Avatar has stuck around for this long and everything like that is pretty crazy. And, with Korra, I wish that they knew they were going to get 4 seasons, and, like, there was a lot of, like, Nickelodeon meddling and, like, sort of rushed and, like, really bad budgets and shit like that really caused the show to be what it is. Seeing characters slide across the screen and, like, the animation not being as good and, like, the storylines being not all that great either. If they knew they were gonna get 4 seasons off the bat, I'm like confident that show would have been really, really good, because, like, with Avatar they knew that it was just gonna be 3 seasons and that's it. But with Korra it was like, oh, okay, we're gonna do, like, this one-off season, which is why, like, that first season feels like its own, like, contained season. And then when you go into season 2, it's like, oh, like, we're doing more of this. And then, like, season 3 happened. And then season 4, then they're like, now we got to stop, sort of thing. So, it sucks that Korra ended up the way that it is, but I hope that the current graphic novels and maybe even these future ones can, sort of touch up with what Korra did before and sort of, make people like it again. I definitely want to check those comics out, but I definitely have to read the goddamn Avatar one. So
yeah, it really is going to depend on what they really go for. But yeah, overall, I'm still excited. Love Avatar and can't wait for more of that. So yeah, John Wick 4. That's we got a new trailer for that. It's gonna be coming out March 24th, 2023. I've only seen John Wick 1, so I don't know what's going on. But he's still doing the John Wick stuff. I mean, like even with just me watching the first one, this trailer kind of just explains it. Yeah, he fights people and it's cool. So that's about all like there is. I haven't watched chapter 2 or 3. I don't know if they're good. Well, I know one of them.
Oh man, it just gets better.
It gets better. Okay, good.
I mean, like John Wick 3 is like my favorite, just because they did so much stuff. John Wick 2 is but yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, because I hoping the series doesn't like get too fatigued, because it's kind of the same thing. Like he's mad and he fights people. So but I really did enjoy the first movie. So I am looking forward to probably catching up. I don't know where I could even watch these. Like I don't know if they're on HBO Plus or whatever. But it is something I do want to catch up on, because John Wick 1 was really good. So.
Yeah, I mean, John Wick 2 and 3 really do expand on like the lore and sort of like the world of John Wick, which is pretty cool. So if you watch those movies, you'll see exactly why people are really looking forward to it. It's not just because Keanu Reeves does do some pretty cool shit, but also like it is like the world and sort of like everything like that goes on surrounding his character. So but yeah, John Wick 4, looking forward to it. I heard that they filmed this one and the 5th one back to back, so yeah, hopefully the next one comes out the next year, if not even sooner. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this, just because fucking John Wick. I love John Wick. Yeah. Moving on from there, we got Shazam! Fury of the Gods. So we got a sequel to one of the better DCEU shows, and sort of this one is about what's it called? Billy sort of growing up, but he also has these sort of like Shazam power, but also like his entire family has powers now. So I'm sure that it's gonna be the same thing as the first movie, but with just more stuff going on. Him developing as a character and whatnot. So. Yeah, I mean, like, did I need a sequel to Shazam 1? Not necessarily, but now that we got it, I'm like, okay, like, I'll watch it, I'll give it up, but, like, I'm not super duper excited for it, necessarily.
I just hope it's better than Wonder Woman 2. Because I really like Wonder Woman 1, and I really like Shazam 1. And then Wonder Woman 2 came out, I'm like, that was garbage. So I'm hoping this one doesn't turn out as bad, because... DC has such an unproven track record with anything. Like, they make a great movie, and then sometimes they have like a shit movie. Like, I just don't really get. Like, it's just a surprise every time I watch a movie from them, to be honest. So hopefully this movie comes out well. Like you said, I didn't think I needed a sequel to Shazam. Like, I think Black Adam was like enough, as like a pseudo sequel, and then it could have done more of that, I guess. But if it wants to do more with Shazam, then fine. Then I guess I'll take it, because it was an enjoyable movie to begin with, and hopefully this one would be just as enjoyable. If it turns out shit like Wonder Woman 2, I'll be kind of whatever about it. But yeah, again, I'm not like the biggest DC person to begin with, so having me be invested into it is kind of hard. So that's why I think DC. I think we talked about this before. I think DC is better at one-off movies to begin with, like like Joker and then Suicide Squad and if
the
they
Batman.
do the Batman. So when they do sequels, is always just like, I don't know how they're gonna turn out. Same thing with the Joker too. Like, I don't know how that's gonna turn out either. So. I guess we're just gonna wait and see. But just from the trailer, it looks like it still keeps up that same energy from the first movie, which is good. And hopefully it just turns out good, because that's really the only thing I could hope for.
That's all I could really hope for too. Yeah.
Because all these DC things, I guess that goes into Black Adam right here. Not too much. It's basically the same thing we've been seeing for the last like year. Like, I feel like they keep showing the same trailer over and over again. Because they showed this during Summer Game Fest, because The Rock was there for some reason. And he's like, watch this Black Adam trailer, and he was like super coked out of his mind. I don't know what was wrong with The Rock there. But yeah, it was basically like the same trailer, like him doing the cool stuff. It's kind of weird that they're not connected right now, because isn't Black Adam supposed to be like Shazam's like arch nemesis or something like that? I don't know. It's kind of weird that they aren't like connected anyway, like any sort of way. I guess they're waiting for a third Shazam if they ever get the chance to do one. But yeah, I guess we'll see. Again, Black Adam looks fine as well. It looks more like what I expect from a DC thing. I basically got the same like feeling of watching like the Aquaman trailer like from this one. I just like don't really care that much because it's strong man doing the cool thing. I'm like, okay, but yeah, again, it's kind of hard to get excited because there's no like overarching plot. There's no anything. Like the movies in general are usually like a mixed bag. So I don't know. Hard for me to be really that excited about it, but I guess we'll see when they come out. They could surprise me. I don't know.
I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to this. I mean, if we're being honest, like this movie's gonna do well. It's fucking Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Yeah, every
single movie he's in, he just draws people in. Don't know what it is, but hey, like he's a very likable actor. So but it seems like that this movie's doing obviously like his origin story, and it seems like it's doing it like pretty well as far as I can tell from this quick little sneak peek. Obviously, he has this power, and he could either be the savior or the destroyer, and he obviously is destroying a lot of shit. So we obviously know which choice he chose. So yeah, seeing a movie about him being like a, I guess, like villain, maybe like an anti-hero sort of thing, it's gonna be kind of cool. I'm sure that this is gonna confuse a lot of people, normies, when they see Dwayne the Rock Johnson just fucking murdering people. They're like, wait, I thought he was a nice guy. What's going on?
He was a good guy this whole time.
But no, he's playing Black Adam. So, hopefully when we get like the first real trailer, we get a better idea of what this movie's going to be. I mean, it's coming out this October. So like that's pretty soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to go to theaters and watch this because I think that this will be a fun time. But, obviously, we're just going to have to wait and see. And then Shazam, I forget when that's coming out. It's coming out this Christmas. So,
look at that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So we're going to get Black Adam and then Shazam. So, moving on from there, we got The Last of Us Part 1 features and gameplay trailer. So they showed pretty much why this game is worth $70. And do I agree with them? A little more, definitely. I mean, when you see the side-by-side comparison and sort of see how different the game looks compared from the PS4 to what the oh shit, I hit my mic, to what like the PS5 offers, it's like night and day almost, honestly. Like, if I'm being honest, like I really, obviously coming from a fucking guy who loves The Last of Us 1, Last of Us 2, it has good aspects of it, but I wouldn't consider it like a really good game. Like, it's fine. Them going back and be like, we could take advantage of this new technology and sort of give The Last of Us the treatment that it deserves, sort of like what they wanted to do originally on the PlayStation 3, but now with the PS5 stuff, it looks pretty cool. Them being able to, show how much better they're able to capture the mocap stuff and just like the lighting and everything like that, the sort of AI and, just everything about this game. Naughty Dog, every single time they release a new game, they're always able to one-up themselves, which I think is fucking amazing. Like, just the one-upping their gameplay, their graphics, their like everything, which is great. It's cool. It's awesome. So even with this remake, they're doing that once again. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm obviously going to buy it day one. Do I agree with that $70 price point? A little more, but not necessarily. I still think it should be like 60, but it is what it is. You do get a full-fledged game here if you haven't played The Last of Us yet anyways. But, if you're someone like me revisiting it, it's probably going to be a slightly different experience, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, for me, obviously, I've never played Last of Us. So I'm like, well, this will be a good opportunity to play it. I might as well just play like the best version of it. I still disagree that it should be 70. Like, it probably should be 60 as well. Like, I think that's like, mostly because they're taking away like content from the factions and stuff. I know that was a big deal for people. And then you charge more for it. It just seems like a little weird. But, from all the side-by-sides they showed, yeah, it does look a lot better, especially the facial animations and stuff. Like, that's obviously the big thing that really struck out to me as being, like, the big upgrade. Because when Ellie was talking in the PS3 version, she's like, bah, bah, bah. And then, like, in this version, she actually looks like a person now. So I'm like, oh, that's really good. So, the environments, do look a little bit, do look a lot better and stuff as well. Though it still impresses me, like, that game was made on the PS3. I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
That game was, like, really graphically impressive for the time, like, my lord. So yeah, like, if you don't agree with the $70 price tag, like, I totally get it. Like, I also don't really agree with it either for this type of game, because it's not like a new game. It's a remake from a game that was like 10 years ago that's still available on current consoles. I think Uncharted remake or like a Jack and Daxter remake or something would have been better for something that's like, older. But hey, if they want to think they could do more Last of Us, then that's fine, I guess. They went into more detail about like the AI and stuff. Like, it looks a lot more competent now and stuff, so that's cool. But overall, It looks good. Like it looks like something I would play, and finally play The Last of Us. This is like some people's favorite games of all time. I know it's one of your favorite.
It's
games.
one of mine.
So that's why I am excited to like finally like play it and like get my hands on it. I mean, there's a lot of games coming out at August and early September for myself, so it's gonna be, I'm gonna try to squeeze it in somewhere, but I don't know if I'll play it at launch, because again, there's a shit ton of things I want to play, but and school is gonna be starting. But yes, I will be playing this at least before the year ends. So yeah, I can finally talk about it. I have an opinion on this fucking series. I'll probably play Last of Us 2 as well, so I can finally be like, okay, this is what I think about this game like 2 years later. So,
but yeah, I mean, them doing this video, this 10-minute video, I think was definitely needed, especially to those people that were doubting the sort of price point of, why don't you do like a free upgrade or whatever the fuck, them just being fucking broke ass people. Not, anyways, I'm just making a joke, guys. It's fine. It's fine to want free upgrades, but I feel like with a case like this, it really should.
I don't think the free upgrade really works in a case like this, but like I do agree that it should have been a lower price, but yeah,
definitely should not have been so.
I don't think that's really a hot take though.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a
hot
take.
Coldest of takes.
But all of the other features, 3D audio, different skins for the characters, nice little things that they're doing for it. So yeah.
All right, so next we already kind of talked about this, but yeah, LeBron James is in MultiVersus, along with Rick and Morty. They also announced those two during that same like sort of. They don't have a trailer yet, but they're coming as well. And yeah, like I was saying before, like I think obviously it's ridiculous that LeBron James is in a fighting game. That's pretty cool. But I think they did a great job with his moveset. Like it feels like, yeah, he's a basketball player and you do basketball things. You could dribble the ball on people. You could like do dunks and stuff. Like it's a very unique moveset. And like, I think that creativity is what really made me like kind of like this game a lot. Like I was talking about earlier. So, hopefully we get even more wacky characters. I think that's always sick. And yeah, LeBron James is honestly like a pretty fun character. I don't have him yet, but maybe I will at some point. Again, really cursed thing to say. Like, I have LeBron James in a fighting game, but there it is.
I main LeBron in MultiVersus.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean, just seeing him like edge guard people with his fucking basketball is just so goofy. But I love it. I love it at the same time.
It's very fun. It's a very fun mechanic.
But moving on from there, we got report has it that there's going to be a Black Panther open world RPG game in early development, and it will be published by EA. So yeah, I mean, Black Panther is definitely one of the biggest Marvel heroes now, alongside Iron Man, Captain America, and even Spider-Man, I would say. Black Panther is, he's a black superhero. So that's one of the main reasons why people love him so much. And, them making a game with him can be interesting. Obviously, everything else outside of Insomniac Spider-Man has been kind of mixed when it comes to Marvel superhero games. So I hope that this one is able to fulfill that. An open world RPG, though, seems a little far-fetched. I wonder how big the world of Wakanda they can explore and shit like that. So, but yeah, I hope that, whatever we see of this game, our first impression of it isn't like, oh shit, this is like Avengers 2.0 kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, it really depends on who's like developing it, because we know EA is publishing it, but I don't know who's like actually making it. Like if it's like Respawn, which I don't think it is, then that would be pretty sick, because they're like the only good developers at EA. You have BioWare, but they're making Mass Effect 4 at the moment, and I think a Dragon Age game. So I don't really know who else is left that could really make it. I think the idea of a Black Panther game is great, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. And it's really funny that EA did that Twitter post like a while ago. It's like, oh, she's a 10, but she only plays single player games, and then they got clowned on. And it's like, here's a new single player game. So good job, EA. But I think the idea of a Black Panther game is sick. I think that's a cool character to do a game on. But it being open world, I don't know how well that's gonna work. Like I know he has mobility options, but again, open world games with any other superhero that isn't like Spider-Man. But like Hulk is cool too, right? Because you do like big little leaps and shit. Like it depends on the mobility options. And I think Black Panther does have a lot of cool stuff, but to do a whole open world game, I'm not too sure about. I think a more linear experience probably would have been better for the guy, but I guess we'll see. Like same thing with like Wolverine. When Insomniac does their Wolverine game, I really hope it's more of a linear type of affair and not an open world game, because I feel like his mobility options just aren't going to match Spider-Man. It's just going to look weak in comparison. So, yeah, it kind of depends on like what the direction I want to go in and stuff. But I was going to need to see a trailer to get properly excited for this. But, you know, hopefully it turns out good and not bad like Avengers did. I know that was Square, but still, same shit. Hopefully it's more like a Guardian situation where I'm like surprised that's good. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so more news. So Star Wars, the Old Republic remake. So that was supposed to come out. Apparently, it was supposed to come out this year. Has been delayed indefinitely. So apparently, the developers of this game have only really remastered like old Star Wars games into newer platforms. That's all they've really done. So they haven't even remade these games. It's not like Blue Point, which they remade like Shadow of the Colossus and Demon Souls and stuff, and they kind of proved themselves to be a pretty like competent developer as well as like a good remaster studio, I guess. Like this company has only really remastered stuff. That's all they've done. So when they're given the fucking keys to be like, all right, remake this like beloved Star Wars game in like a AAA like budget. They did it and apparently it sucked and now it's just being delayed indefinitely, which I'm like, what did you expect? Like, it's not their fault. It's just, you know, kind of like inexperienced developers. Like you're giving them like such a huge project and they just won't be able to do it. So, yeah, it seems like they like fired a bunch of like directors. They hired more people to like work on it. They're saying it won't be available until like 2025 now. It seems to be a giant mess. And it just seems to be another game that's like sort of released or talked about way before they had any like things to show, which is always bad. Like I think you should always have something to show first and then like be like, okay, now the game's coming out. Just showing like, oh, here's Revan and then that's it. I'm like, well what the fuck? What was that supposed to mean? So yeah, I've always been against games like that. Even Bayonetta 3, like now we see Bayonetta 3, but they showed the logo like 5 years ago. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
We don't need to see that. Just tell me when I can actually see the game. So yeah. Obviously that bit them in the butt. Hopefully this comes out well because I do want to play Knights of the Old Republic. Just the original is very like janky and old now, so I think a remake would be nice to play, but it looks like we're gonna be waiting a lot longer for it to actually come out now.
Yeah, I mean the fact that the game is delayed indefinitely is like insane. Like that's something that I have not heard about a game in a while. Usually when that happens, the games just get canceled. So I hope that doesn't happen for this one, just because this is a game that people really, really want remade. Like, yeah. Well, you know, and obviously like this studio, like you said, they've only ported in sort of like redone games to, you know, just like put them on the Switch. Like their most recent stuff have been just like
Force Unleashed and shit. Like
just putting that on the Nintendo Switch and like other platforms. So they don't really have a lot of experience when it comes to making a game from the ground up. So you know, them showing, you know, Lucasfilm and Sony being like, hey, like this is what we got, and then they're like, this is dog shit, and then it's like, I fire everyone. It's like, wait, what? No.
Yeah.
You know, them hiring the studio, they should definitely have another studio that's a lot more experienced and a lot more well equipped to, you know, make a game of this caliber and sort of have people behind it that are willing to sort of, you know, teach others as to, you know, how to make this game the best that it can be. But, you know, obviously we don't know if the game will ever resume, you know, development. You know, it may not even arrive until 3 years from now, which is a little crazy. So, you know, now you're going to have people waiting a very, very long time for this game, if at all, if it's even going to come out. So I'm sure that this is just the start of like the sort of development hell behind the scenes that we are getting to know about as of right now. I feel like that there's going to be a story about this game when it comes out, if at all, you know, about how like, you know, stuff was going on behind the scenes and like they wanted this and this, but like we don't know what the fuck we're doing and shit like that. So you know, hopefully we see something about this game eventually, but definitely don't hold your breath, because, you know, it was announced just last year, and now we're learning that it's delayed indefinitely. So definitely not good.
Yeah, definitely not.
Moving on from there, some slight good news we got is Rockstar has changed up their work culture from the frat boy sort of, you know, college shit to being a lot more professional, like an actual, you know, company. And they are, you know, doing that in small and big ways, such as within GTA 6, you're going to be having a playable female protagonist for the first time who will be Latina, and it's sort of going to be like a Bonnie and Clyde story. Yeah. So that's exciting. That's pretty cool. And the article goes into further detail as to they don't know how long GTA 6 is going to take, just because they really did a lot of sort of changing around, and sort of, the last time they developed the GTA game was back in 2013. That was when GTA 5 came out, guys. That's how long the game is,
long ass time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, so the game is very, very old. So the fact that they're making a new one, and the fact that they changed up their culture, it's obviously going to take a while and a lot longer for them to finally show something concrete, and for people to get very, very excited about GTA 6, because people have been asking for a very, very long time for a new GTA game, but they've been just doing GTA Online stuff, which is fine, because I feel like that's what most of the community really wanted. A small number of the community wanted a brand new GTA game for the story and sort of see what Rockstar was going to do, but that has never really been the focus of the GTA series, honestly, in my opinion. It's always been about the open world aspect and sort of like what you can do in this big sandbox, and GTA Online really fulfilled that, with you giving like missions and like sort of different sort of side storylines and stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully this change up in culture doesn't prevent the game quality to decrease, because that would be not good. That would just show that, hey, like this toxic culture was just a lot better for Rockstar, and it made their games better. But in reality, no game studio should be like that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, I'm really happy they're finally like sort of addressing like a lot of these issues that Rockstar has been facing, and hopefully other companies could take that into account. I know Naughty Dog has been pretty bad with it, so hopefully they could like sort of get their shit together for the next game, like big game comes out and stuff. Like, I know the Last of Us Part 1 remake has been pretty like smooth sailing. I mean, obviously that's not too hard to do because it's just a remake, but hopefully the next big game is also met with like nice, just sort of smooth sailing. And in terms of Rockstar, obviously a GTA game is really hard to make, and they haven't made one forever. So hearing that they're really working towards making the work culture better and not as toxic or anything, I think that's great to hear. I think that's good to hear companies finally address these things that have been bubbling up for years now, be addressed. And, just with this GTA being more, I guess, like inclusive, I guess, having more female playable character for the first time, which is crazy that it hasn't happened yet. Apparently the humor isn't supposed to be as punching down. It's supposed to be like more like, just not as insensitive as it used to be, which is also fun. I think those sort of things will also go a long way for the game as well. Again, this is all like rumored, but like, it's basically true. I mean, Jason
Inside
Schreider
reporting.
Yeah, Jason Schreider is the one that said it, so it's definitely going to be true. So
yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me to see a trailer at some point at the in the future. But yeah, obviously people on the internet making hissy fits. Oh, why am I playing as female? Like, what's wrong with these people? Yeah, I knew immediately as soon as I see that, like, oh, these people aren't going to be happy because people suck.
It's fucking incels.
Yeah.
But yeah, I find it hilarious that like they were trying to do like a cops and robbers sort of game mode, and then like everything happened and like they didn't know like if they should stop or not. It's like, guys, hello.
Yeah.
Guys, hello. Just be a little more in tune as to what's going on outside of the gaming landscape. But
oopsies.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that when we finally do see GTA 6, which honestly I don't think is going to be for another 2 years, if I'm going to be completely honest. It's not going to be for a while. When we do finally see it, it is what people want and what people expect from a sequel to GTA 5, which has been in the sort of gaming cycle for so long. Like, that game has been full price, sitting on store shelves as a third-party game for a long time. So
yeah, and I'm about ready.
Across like 3 generations,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it has been. It came out on the 360 and PS3, which is crazy.
Yep.
I keep forgetting it was a PS3 and 360 game because it came out so late during their life cycle.
Yeah.
But yeah. So next, we got the next wave of Mario Kart 8 courses. Nothing else matters because I got Waluigi Pinball. So
let's go!
That's fucking hype as shit. I fucking love that stage in Mario Kart DS. So yeah, very happy about that. We also got some other stages. No Double Dash representation, which is weird. We got like a new course. I think it's like this like ice cream looking course that looks kind of cool. I didn't even know they were gonna add new courses. I thought they were all gonna be like
throwback courses,
throwback stuff. But I guess not. We got some Mario 64 stuff. Mushroom Gorge is sick. Like, that was from Mario Kart Wii.
Oh, yeah.
I like that stage.
Shout out to Kofi. I will never forget that stage because that motherfucker, it was just me and him online. Mario Kart Wii, back in the day, we were like in 4th, 5th grade. This motherfucker like lapped me. He waited at the finish line for me to get there, then he just ended the race. hates motherfucker.
Absolute troll.
Every single time I see Mushroom Gorge now, I'm just like, I hate that course. But yeah, I mean, you know, the sort of like remakes and sort of them just like making new courses as well is pretty cool. I think that they've so far so good. They picked courses that I think people like a lot.
Yeah.
For the most part, you know, courses that people are familiar with, which is good and bad. You know, Waluigi Pinball is definitely a go-to for Mario Kart DS fans, such as yourself. But yeah, them also bringing in Mario Kart Tour, I think courses is pretty cool because I feel like most people haven't played that game. So them just bringing those courses onto a mainline Mario Kart game is pretty dope. But yeah, I'm just curious when they're gonna make another Mario Kart game because, you know, just like with GTA 5, you know, Mario Kart 8 has been in the cycle for Mario Kart games for so long, and honestly, I don't see a reason to play Mario Kart anymore just because I feel like Mario Kart 8 is the best, but because it is the best, they don't know where to go from there.
Yeah, it's kind of how I feel like what Smash Ultimate is gonna be. Like I feel like you need like a whole new thing to shake up the series now because like you basically did everything. Like Smash Ultimate has like 80 fucking characters in it, and then like Mario Kart 8 has like almost every course you would want. So like, what do you go from there? So yeah, it's gonna be the next installments in those series are definitely gonna be like either too safe or too crazy. It's gonna be weird what's gonna happen. But knowing Nintendo, they're probably gonna go the crazy route. So we'll see.
Crazy as in we will not expect what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know. Wave 2, it is coming out August 4th, so keep your eye on that to those Mario Kart players and enjoyers today. I have not touched Mario Kart 8 in a while. I will be completely honest, but
I will play Waluigi Pinball, and then
last bit of news we got here is PlayStation's Backbone 1 controller. It is a official attachment for iPhones.
Yep.
So pretty much this is used for remote play. And remote play works as long as you have a internet connection, whether that is with your cell phone, cellular, or with Wi-Fi, you can play your PlayStation games anywhere, I guess. I guess the console from your home is going to turn on, and then you can see the screen on your phone or some shit. I'm not exactly sure how this works. But the attachment itself is pretty cool. The fact that they specified that this is for iPhone only is kind of funny, because I feel like, you know, you're just alienating, you know, the Android users, and you're just feeding into that iPhone sort of like ecosystem, which is a good and bad thing, just because like you're just giving Apple more power, in like the grand scheme of things of like the sort of smartphone war. It's like a whole thing, you know. MKBHD did a fantastic video in terms of like the Apple ecosystem, because some people are like really fucking deep into it. Like just me and you, like we only have iPhones.
Yeah.
Some people got the watches, they got the MacBook,
yeah,
they got
I'm not
the Mac.
that crazy.
Yeah,
I just like the iPhone interface, like, you know.
Yeah.
So like that's
pretty
about
simple.
It. Yeah,
it's pretty simple. It's pretty easy. The camera on the phones are pretty good. I'm using that to record my face cam. But yeah, you know, them using it, or them only doing iPhone right now, I feel like it's them to just like test the waters, because, you know, Android sort of, you know, there's a lot less people who use Android phones compared to iPhones. Like if we're being honest here. So them just being like, all right, this is for iPhones only, I'm sure that it's just them trying to test the waters.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Like maybe they want to see, like, because iPhones have a bigger install base, so yeah, it does make sense to make it for them first, and then be like for everyone else. But I guess yeah, it looks cool. You know, like my main problem with mobile gaming is definitely like the controls, right? Now, I don't know if you could use this for wherever else. I don't know if you could like play Genshin Impact on your phone with this thing. Like, you know what I mean?
I think they showed Genshin, no?
Oh, did they? Oh,
I might be trolling.
No, you could play it on PlayStation. That's probably
okay.
Why. So that makes sense. So never mind. But if it's like a non-PlayStation thing, then yeah, I guess that would be kind of weird. But I don't know if I would want to play like I put Ghost of Tsushima on my phone with like this thing. I feel like that feels a little weird. But hey, you do you.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do, then go ahead. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Sony tries to make like a Switch at some point. Like maybe not an exclusive for games or whatever. Maybe like you could play like PS4 games on like the go or whatever. Because you know that seems to be a hot thing to do again. So that wouldn't surprise me if PlayStation or Sony just tries to do that again. But it seems to be a nice sort of like middle ground. It's like, okay, we're sort of putting back our stuff back into the portable market ever since the Vita fucking failed. So
yeah,
it looks like it could be a cool thing. Definitely not for us, I don't think. Like, that's definitely not what we are into. But definitely for people that like to play on their phones and stuff, like it looks like a cool investment. So
yeah, just at the bottom here, Backbone 1 also works wonderfully with App Store games and other games.
There you go.
Other game streaming services that support controllers, such as Genshin Impact, Fantasian, Call of Duty Mobile, and more. So
there you go. That's actually pretty sick. So
that is pretty cool. But yeah, it is definitely very, very funny, especially since for us, we grew up with like the PSP and all of that stuff. So we saw, I guess like the war between PSP versus DS, and then Sony slowly fade out just because they like mess up the Vita really, really bad.
They did mess up the Vita really bad.
And Nintendo is still in that handheld market with the Switch now. Them just having the home console, but also you could take it on the go if you want, sort of thing. So yeah, the Backbone 1 seems like a pretty cool thing for a very niche audience. Obviously, I don't know how much this thing's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be like $50-$60, no cap. Like,
I feel like it might be like 70, right? Like, it has to be the same price or more than the DualSense, I think.
Which, this controller in and of itself brings me back to like the Wii U days where they were like, oh, like your parents want to watch something on the TV, you would pull up the fucking gamepad to like play Mario U.
Hell yeah, dude.
So, this seems something reminiscent of that, but it looks like they're using the internet, the power of the internet to, connect yourself to whatever games you're trying to play. So.
Yeah, not bad. Again, I think it's really cool that you can use it for other things. Like I'm always a big fan of when like peripherals like that could be used for other shit. Like that's kind of cool. So yeah, looks pretty cool.
But yeah, is there anything else you would like to? Oh shit! Wait, I just realized, Damian. Guess how much this is?
How much is it?
It's $100.
Holy shit! All right, that's a lot.
It's $100. But there is a Backbone 1 for Android.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not like a PlayStation licensed one, I guess, or something like that.
Bootleg?
Yeah. It's made by Backbone, but it's not like I guess like a PlayStation one or whatever. So
I see.
But yeah, I mean it's pretty cool. But for $100, holy shit, bro.
100 is a lot. I think if you play a lot on your phone and really want like a grip or something, then I think it's worth it. But I think for like a casual person, yeah, that seems kind of like a lot.
Yeah, so there's the PlayStation edition for the iPhone, which is just so it has like the PlayStation buttons.
Yeah.
But then the Android one just has the traditional A on the bottom, B on the side. So I'm sure you can use it for Android if PlayStation allows the sort of what's it called, the fucking shit, what's it called, the fucking remote play on that app or whatever. So
yeah.
That's pretty cool. But oh my god, $100! We did not expect that.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot more than I thought it was gonna be.
But I think that's about it now. I think that's about it.
I think that's everything.
But yeah, thank you guys for listening to the Travis and Damian podcast, episode 92. We will see you guys a week and a half from now with another episode.
Yeah. Later.